You may have seen The Karate Kid over a dozen times, but you probably never noticed these 10 details in the movie. And the first one is that during the beach party scene, there's a continuity error when Johnny is about to throw the boombox at Daniel. You'll notice that at first, the speakers are facing away from him, but when he throws it, the speakers are facing the opposite direction. When Mr. Miyagi is pruning his bonsai trees, if you look closely, you can tell that he's not actually clipping any leaves off. And the reason is because the trees had to last through multiple takes, so Pat Morita had to pretend to use his clippers. To avoid getting bullied at the Halloween dance, Daniel dresses up in a ridiculous shower costume, whom he mentions to Ali was made by a friend. And we can safely assume that Mr. Miyagi was that friend, because in the previous scene, you can see parts of the shower costume hung up in the background. When the Cobra Kai chase Daniel down and pull him from a fence to beat him up, the sign on the fence just so happens to have the words "Help, Stop" written on it, which seems intentional by the filmmakers, because those words speak perfectly to Daniel's emotions during the scene. When Mr. Miyagi takes Daniel to his house to dress his wounds, he teaches Daniel to hold his teacup from the bottom instead of by the sides. But apparently, Mr. Miyagi doesn't follow his own customs, because a minute later, you can see Miyagi holding his own cup by its sides. The next day when Mr. Miyagi and Daniel visit the Cobra Kai dojo to ask for a truce between the boys, Johnny is seen with a black eye. But this doesn't make any sense, because when he fought Mr. Miyagi the night before, we see Miyagi blocked Johnny's punches, flipped him, and gave him a chop to the stomach. But he never hit Johnny in the eye. Another subtle detail about the dojo scene shows just how protective Mr. Miyagi is of Daniel, because after Kreese threatens them, Miyagi puts Daniel behind him and walks out without breaking eye contact or turning his back until they're safely by the door, because he rightfully perceives Kreese to be a threat. When Daniel goes to the arcade to tell Ali about his new car, he walks past a love tester, and if you look closely, the bulb that is lit up on the machine is the one next to the word "uncontrollable," which is referring to Daniel's love for Ali. Ali might not be in a relationship with Johnny anymore, but that doesn't mean she didn't learn anything useful from him, because during the opening scene of the tournament, you can see that Ali knows how to properly tie an obi, and also explain how the point system works, which we can assume she learned from Johnny. The Karate Kid was directed by John Avildsen, who became famous for directing Rocky. And this movie has 2 easy-to-miss homages to the iconic sports drama series that you may not have ever noticed. Just like the first Rocky, The Karate Kid ends at the height of Daniel's success after he scores the winning point. And just before the credits roll, Daniel shouts to Mr. Miyagi, "We did it," just like Rocky shouts the same thing to Adrian at the end of Rocky 2. Click a video for more great content right here on Fun Fact Films.